I am here with Leigh Little. Leigh is the supervisor of fine arts for Guilford County Schools in North Carolina. Leigh, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I understand you've had some success with ESSER funding, but before we get into that, I'd like for you to share with the folks Guilford County Schools and just a little bit of insight of the district, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so Guilford County Schools is, I think, the fourth largest school district in the state of North Carolina. We have roughly 70,000 students. We are majority BIPOC, so people of color, and probably, I'm going to throw this rough guess out there, maybe 60% free and reduced lunch students. So ESSER funds have been super important and critical when it comes to reducing the spread of COVID and making band accessible to parents and students who can't afford instruments. So, and the district was really, there were conversations before me that happened with the district about how this is important for every student to have access to an instrument, and they really listened, and they've really pushed the envelope with their thinking when it comes to spending the ESSER funds, and a lot of that has to do with eradicating racial wealth gaps.
So in the ESSER process, how does that work for a district of your size, and how did the arts kind of get implemented into that?
So without giving away too much information, because any of this could change at any time, which is the beauty of ESSER funds, there were some key players at the district level, including the superintendent, who came up with 7 buckets of what they thought were the most important things for spending the ESSER funds on. And part of that included purchasing instruments for our band programs. And I know that there were conversations before me that happened, and they were made aware of the stimulus program through conn-selmer, and how do you pass up an opportunity like that? So that was included in the buckets of funding, along with things for professional development, marching band uniforms, and PPE to keep everyone safe. So that also includes face masks, bell covers, and we're hoping air purifiers.
So it sounds like it's hitting a lot of different aspects to help preserve the arts and what you guys are doing, which is wonderful to hear. In regards to other districts or educators across the country that might be looking into ESSER funding, what kind of advice would you give them as they're exploring ESSER funding and looking at it?
So the key thing is to not be afraid to ask. It is okay to ask the district level. So I'm at the district level, and the district has created the buckets of funding, and it doesn't necessarily go to the individual schools. So the people at the district are kind of the gatekeepers of the funds, but knowing who to ask in your district about the funding, and could you possibly have funding for your program, and some things that maybe were purchased in the 2020-21 school year could be eligible for refunds with ESSER funds. So the district could refund school dollars that live at that building level with ESSER funding. So knowing who the key players are with the ESSER funds is important. And that's usually, if you have someone like me in your district, or your chief academic officer, or your chief financial officer, or if you have someone who is over federal funding or Title I funding, they may be like your first point of contact. But whenever you come to them to say, how are these funds spent? Could we spend money on these items? You need to have research on how this does prevent the spread of COVID. Is it reasonable? And how can it help grow and sustain and grow the performing arts programs?
Now, what type of investment, based on the results of what you guys put forward, just a ballpark dollar amount, are they investing in the arts overall?
You're going to ask a visual art person a math question. I think so. For instruments,
just ballpark.
yeah, I think it might be around $4 million total because there's some monies for professional development and those kinds of things.
No, that's amazing. Well, the work you've done and your team there in Guilford County is going to impact the lives of many children within that district, and we're grateful for leaders such as yourself supporting music and the arts education across the country. So thank you, Leanne, for sharing some insights on ESSER funding with me today. And I hope that this helps other folks across the country with their ESSER plans. So
Yeah.
best of luck this school year. I know you guys are off to a beginning of the school year and lots of interesting things happening. So best of luck, and thank you so much for all you do for music education.
Oh, thank you.